again. Big opening. Pass 5. Pass 10. Verbal's a man. And he goes all the way to the 15-yard line. 17 yards out of there.
Welcome back to the Believe in Packers podcast on the Believe Podcast Network, presented by betonline.ag. Once again, I'm Matt Perkins, joined as always with Badger legend, the Hebrew Hammer himself, busting out the double guns today. It's Matt Bernstein. Bernie, how we doing?
I mean, it's great. We've already had a great conversation with Nigel, but we're going to keep it going because, man, dude, this is a special guy we have here. We're doing the intro.
Yeah, Nigel Hayes,
just Nigel Hayes,
someone we admire, someone we have already come to love. Nigel, thanks for spending some time with us here today.
Changed the landscape of college athletics, dude.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate being here. And I appreciate the title. I don't know if I'm that important to change the landscape. I may have planted a flower or two, but not the whole landscape.
I mean, you don't get anywhere without the seed, and you're the Johnny Appleseed of it. So
someone had to start it.
Someone had to start it. Before we get into it, though, we got to remind you guys that we are presented by betonline.ag, where they continue to be your number one source for all of your online sports wagering needs. NBA playoffs heading into the conference finals right now, as well as NHL playoffs. Baseball season's in full swing. There's always some good UFC, boxing, you name the sport, it's there at BetOnline. Casino games, card games, they are your number one source. So head on over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus with our promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, Nigel, one of the reasons that we even first got connected, though, was because of this new product that you have invented. So let's just start right there. What is this?
So this is something that it's been like a year and a half, 2 years in the making. It's a hot dog grilling tray, Harana.
Oh,
and I'm gonna open it now, but it's something I was making. So the ironic part is that I'm not I don't eat meat, but I was eating a vegan. Don't laugh at me. I was eating a vegan hot dog some years back. I haven't had one in that whole amount of time. And when I was younger, though, and we used to eat like hot dogs or something like that, my mom would always toast a bun, and I was like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever to have a toasted bun. And I was making mine. I was like, man, I would love to do it. And then I was like, the bun kept splitting. So I was like, how do I make something to where the bun doesn't split? So then that's when 2 years later, meeting people, and then I came up with the cast iron grilling tray, and it has its own little handle that I can put in, so I can lift this up, put the handle in, out. You can use it on the stove, grill top. You know, if you have an open fire, you can sit and use it like at a campfire in college dorms. And I really think so here's this right here. You hold it with the handle, take it out so you can leave it. And then like it allows you to use it anywhere. And like the biggest, I think, use of this could be potentially like tailgating. You know, I think this is something that could be big at tailgating. Is little independent, like little mini barbecues, 4th of July's, holidays. Like I said, dorms, especially a lot of dorms, you're not allowed to have grills or something like that. So this gives you a chance to, if you want to grill some dogs in a bun, you're able to do that. So this is kind of what I've been working on.
And so what's the name of it? What are you calling it?
It's called, so that's the company is under, so the LLC, you know, so that way I don't take on any unneeded liability and risk.
Feel that.
Harana. So it's called Harana, and the name is from, so since I've been in Europe these last couple of years, I've learned a couple languages, and in Croatian, the word for food is Hrana, and it's H-R-A-N-A. So I added an A after the H, so it's Harana. I just thought it sounded cool, and like, you know, you need kind of like the, you know, that the like the lawnmower company, like Husqvarna. Like it just sounds like something like, wow. So yeah, I named it Harana. So it's the Harana tray, and I'm kind of trying to get this, you know, just promoted and going, try to be like the next George Foreman but with the grilling tray. So
can it double as like one of like so if you like grill on a flat top, like one of like the weights that you put down on top of like the burgers or the dogs to make them cook a little faster?
I mean,
it's flat on the
bottom is flat.
Yeah, that's what I see. Yes. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking dual use right here.
Yeah, you could do that if you got the burgers on there. You can sit this.
Yeah.
And
so it could sit on the top of the grill, and you can literally just put the bun on it and just toast it.
And it comes with
send me one, please. I'll buy it.
Butter bowl and the brush right here.
Oh yeah.
So you open it, brush your buns, sit it on there, and you can. And what I found out too, interestingly enough, is that hot dogs come pre-cooked already. Did you know that? Like you can eat hot dogs. I didn't know that. So in my research, I always thought you had to cook hot dogs, and it was saying like, no, you're supposed to just get them to, look a certain way. So they really, in about 2 minutes, you can cook 2 hot dogs, 2 buns, and have a good meal to go. So it's, like I said, something that came to me, been working on it for a while. Now I'm in the process of, just getting it out there and trying to,
can I Amazon it? Like, how do you buy one?
So I have the website, haranaus.com, www.haranaus.com.
We'll link to it in the show notes.
And you can buy it. You can buy it from there. And this part is trying to start somewhere where I have and that's what Adam was recommending, is to start somewhere where, you have a place. So I started in Toledo, trying to go to different restaurants and companies. And then obviously the other base point would be Madison. So starting there and trying to introduce the product there and grow it from those 2 hub points.
Good advice.
I absolutely love it.
Advice.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Great advice.
Listen, you're going to have a brat. I mean, you need buns. And in Madison, I feel like that's like the place that they do all of that.
Right. So that's why I said it was great for him to do that, because I didn't even think of like, not being in college anymore, but like it makes sense. Like I said, you go to a tailgate at Madison, everyone knows how football Saturdays are. So it's a million dogs and buns around. So just, to get these in the hands of people, like I said, it's portable, has the handle, you can put it in, take it off, carry it anywhere. You can use it in all different places. I think it's something that it's one of those purchases that you technically don't need, but once you have one, you'd be happy. Like, I'm glad I got this thing.
Yeah, it's
the
like
amount of buns I burn. The amount of buns I burn is, it's so much. I love it. I need one.
Well, so I was gonna say, like, to me, it's like it's like the charcoal chimney, right? Like once I got one, like I'm not going back. Like I'm never lighting my charcoal without a chimney again. It's just a waste of my time. You don't technically need it, but once you have it,
technically, that's what I was trying to. It's not something you need, but once you get it, you're like, I'm glad I got this thing. Like it makes me happier, and that's all life's about. Just trying to be a little happier.
Hopefully soon we'll be able to get them with like a Motion W in them, like printed with a Motion W in it. Get some real branding going here.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Maybe an XL version for extra large brats. Who knows?
Who knows?
Really, yeah. So the I guess you would say the next steps are endless, but in this infant stage, is just trying to, like I said, get the product out there. And as far as Amazon goes, I've been a little hesitant because I've heard about people who sell things on Amazon. Like Amazon has this way of like stealing ideas and then like recreating the similar product, and then like obviously it's Amazon, so like their cost is significantly less. So whatever let's say you sell something for $10, they could sell it for $1 and run you out of business. But luckily this is patented, so I shouldn't have to run into any of those problems. So I got it patented. It took a while to do that as well. There's so many steps and stuff. So many. Like, once you get into a certain world that like I had no idea, like I'm doing business, like international calls, I need to figure out about this stuff. It's like, there's a patent for this. It's like, like I had when I made the LLC, I had to get in contact with like freight companies, and there's like certain things you need to do for that. And I'm like, man, who knew there was so much to the world? There's so much you don't know in life and in business. So like doing this was like, it was a pretty cool experience because I was able to learn about, a side of business and a side of the world that I wasn't privy to before.
Have you been in contact with any other badgers who are doing kind of the same things? I know AJ Taylor, who was around, I think it was a little bit after you or around your time on the football team, has made a card game, also done some marketing through Adam as well. Have you talked with any other guys that like you played with who have been doing similar sort of side ventures?
No, I haven't actually. I mean, I would definitely love to be and get in contact. The more minds you have on something, the better things can go. You see that now with like Adam putting us in contact and giving me the ideas I had. So it's always good to reach out and get in contact, and I definitely be able to do that. Everybody has ideas and networks and ways that we can help each other, and obviously being Badgers, that's kind of like that's supposed to be our main goal, right? As alumni, is to help other Badgers grow.
Absolutely.
So this is a great lead-in because I find your story so moving. I don't even know what to say. Like, you literally might have changed the landscape of college athletics.
Oh my gosh. In 10 years, there needs to be a documentary about me and doing this. It may sound, what's the word? I don't want it to sound arrogant, but
no, they definitely
I'm
need
glad
to do
that you appreciate that. Like, there was a time when I was literally getting, for lack of better terms, crucified for saying college athletes should be paid and talking about it. And I just saw there was a kid from Michigan that transferred because he got paid more money.
Yep. Hunter Dickinson.
I have so many questions.
That guy as a basketball player, by the way, not a fan. Just not a fan. But
I'm not super familiar with college hoops anymore, but I just found out like 20, 30 minutes ago, one of the guys was like, did you see what the kid from Michigan said? And I said, man. And just to think, when I was in college, they were like, I was getting almost in trouble. I remember compliance was like, I can't take a pen. I was like, oh, that's a NCAA violation. Now people are doing $1 million contracts.
What, $7 million for something like Arch Manning and stuff like that? I mean, Bernie, when you were there though, you were there for or coming off a shoebox scandal too, so you know all about compliance breathing down your neck.
Yeah. Listen, Nigel, when I showed up to visit, they had shakes being made in the shake machine. Like it was, they gave them a lot of things to eat, and it was great. And then the shoebox happened, which happened in, I think, 2000 or 99, 2000.
It was 2000,
all these dudes were going to the shoebox in Black Earth and getting shoes for free, but the guy wrote all of them down, thinking like they pay him back eventually, but he knew they wouldn't. So the NCAA caught wind, and they had all this documentation. All these dudes got suspended. So I show up the next year, the machine's out. They have like these horrible bars that, remember back in the day, like the bars you'd eat, they were terrible. They were chalk. So they only had these things that at that point, they're like, we'd sit with the compliance people, and I'm sure you did this too, on the team, and say like, hey, if it's snowing and you have a t-shirt on, you're freezing, you can't get in someone's car. If they're a donor to the university, you cannot get in the car. That's a perk or something. And I'm like, what the hell are you guys talking about? We play college sports. Like, we should get something.
The list of perks is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And that's what, like during my time, that's what I was always saying and trying to preach to people. And it's like the common sense behind it, like what that kid from Michigan said. It was like, we live in, people love America, greatest country in the world, and there's something called, capitalism. Is it good or bad? Indifferent. But a lot of people make a living and take care of their families, and that's something that gives us what we have. So capitalism, if you like something, you pay it and you give more money for it. And if you give more money for it, it increases the product. And that's exactly what college athletics is that there's a supply and demand. And if the athletes can do this and make money, then why wouldn't they be able to do it? Because who am I to go to your job and say you work in a dentist's office, and if you tell me the dentist's office down the street will give you more money to do the same job, you're not going to change jobs? Like, let's not be silly. Or if I told you like, hey, instead of getting paid, just work here for free and I'll call it a great experience. Like, people don't do that. Like, the outrage about internships, like unpaid internships, everyone's like, well, why would I work here, work for you just to have experience? And that was the whole spiel about, college athletes. It was that, well, I mean, you're getting a great experience. You're not getting paid. Everyone else is making millions. And the whole NCAA may even be touching $1 billion, but that experience you're getting, priceless.
Ben, how does it feel to maybe be like the And I know you probably took a lot of crap, and you said you were being crucified. I remember reading some of those posts, just being like, man, this dude's a college athlete who is struggling. Like, we should have some support here.
More than some. Hold on, because I want to say my argument, if I am a premier violin player and I get a scholarship to go to Harvard, right? Because Harvard tries to take great musicians, tries to take great everything. I get a full scholarship to go to Harvard. I can still go play side gigs and get paid for that.
But
if I'm an athlete, I can't. If I'm a scholarship violin player at Harvard, I can have a donor pay me to play a private gig. If I am a scholarship athlete, I can't. And to me, that inherent hypocrisy has always sort of been at the core of this in my perspective. Nigel, how did you sort of even first like really come to like want to be at the forefront of this? Like, what moved you to even like really speak out? Because that is something that's very difficult to do.
Combination of right place, right time. Maybe consider me being a little confidently naive, but Zach Bohannon, you remember Zebo was there, and he was on his way out, and I was just coming in, and he saw like this conversation like, hey Nigel, seem like you're going to be a pretty good player here. You might have a big platform, big voice here, something that you haven't thought about, but you probably could have an impact. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Zebo? He tells me about this, and he was like, yeah, this is important because of this, this, and this, just give you something to think about. And I was just like, yeah, you're older than me. Sure, Zebo, whatever. Yeah, let's do it. So then you do it. First year, second year, it's like, I see what he means. Because there was those final 4 years, and it's like, man, that's weird. Because when I first got to this campus, I'm not making any money. There was no number 10 jerseys in the Badger stores. After my second year, there was a lot of number 10 jerseys, and we're not allowed to have our name on the back. So it's just out of nowhere, a lot of number 10 jerseys start popping up in the stores. I'm like, man, if only I could figure out who number 10 was and where these jerseys were coming from. Man, mystery I've never solved. But got in touch with the right people, got on the trial. That was, the trial, the class action lawsuit that was, responsible for doing all this, being a voice there, and, just being a strong mother that I have who raised me to not be afraid to stand up and do what's right. And, that grew into the broke college athlete sign, which again, I think is probably one of the best things that happened. It was a really, oh man, when that happened, side story, oh man, Coach Gard was terrified because he really thought like I'd be like done for that year. But everyone always thought that like I do these things and it's like that was just being like sporadic, spontaneous. But like I put a lot of thought in. I asked the right people, like, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Are these all okay in the law? It's like, yeah. So then when I did it, everyone's like, what are you doing? And it was like I had it all taken care of. And the good thing about that is, again, this is a story that people don't promote about. It was that all the money I got from that Venmo side, the broke college athlete, I then took multiple, maybe 6, 7 families, Christmas shopping for gifts, food, and everything. So all of the money was used and donated and helped families get food, gifts, and all that for the holidays. And that's the part that no one reports, severely underreported. It just show, now you're standing there being a spoiled athlete instead of the one who is simultaneously trying to stand up for my other athletic peers with me and the ones that will follow, and also someone who is trying to do something good for those less fortunate. So it was a great experience, and now we see the changes that were made, and like everyone said, is like, oh my gosh, you pay college athletes, sports are ruined. Still playing sports in college. Would you look at that?
So
the
hold on.
The landscape has changed.
Yeah, the landscape has definitely changed. But Nigel, you mentioned your mom. Talk to us about your relationship with your mom and, growing up in your household.
Oh, mother. God, greatest woman I've ever met. She's great though. She's a biggest fan, biggest critic, biggest supporter. The woman who gave me birth, raised me. So she's been fantastic, supportive in everything that I've done. Like I said, she holds me to higher standards than I hold myself at most times. And so thanks to her and her guidance, being a strong-willed Black woman and being able to take what she has to deal with, not only in society, but also just being a mother and raising children, being a sports fan and having to deal with, people saying things to her on social media about if her son has a bad game. And then also the good part of if her son has a good game or something like that, and she walks out in the store and was like, oh my gosh, are you Nigel's mom? So she's the same way I go through the ups and downs of being an athlete in the spotlight. She does the same with being my mother. So she's been great at raising me and my siblings, and just helping me become a fully functioning, confident, smart, intellectual, adult who's able to do for himself. So yeah, she deserves all the credit in the world.
Dude, all the credit, because what you did and went through. I mean, I hate Twitter. I mean, I don't hate it, but I find it to be so mean. When I grew up and went to college, we just started Facebook. You couldn't put anything out there but a picture and like your birthday. And it was for only college kids. So it's like that was it. I never dealt with, dude, I had bad games, man. The one person who hated the most when you had a bad game was me. Like, I hated myself for it.
Yeah.
But no one told me I had a bad game outside of like the coaches and maybe some of the players. Like no one on Twitter told me. There was no Twitter.
Right.
What's it like growing up? What's it like? And to praise your mom, like, dude, you seem very put together. You seem extremely confident. How did that not like tear you down?
Again, her just knowing that, the wisdom that she had, I guess the maternal instincts, just knowing, and that was always something she said, was not to worry about people's praise and not get too high, too low, and make sure when you do something, do it for the right reason. So when I play in my sports, am I doing this because I love it? Yes, check. Okay, so when you do this sport, like, do it, be confident, make sure you're playing for yourself, your family, and then always, our piece of advice was always appreciate fans, but don't live and die on their comments and critiques, because it's the same here now in Europe. It's even crazier in Europe. This is madness with fandom in Europe. But you have a good game and you're the best player ever. Everybody loves you. You can do no wrong. You lose or have a bad game, and then it's, get them off the team. Why are you even playing basketball? And the best thing is not to read into that. I mean, I remember reading the rapper Jack Harlow mentioned that one time, that it's actually really crazy that we live in this time where you can actually see what a random person says to you. Like, when you really think about it, it's like, I can play a game and that could be some, Joe Blow from a basement in Iowa is like, oh, you suck. And it's like crazy that he can say that and I can see it. Like, that's the world that we live in now. And, the best advice for that is just not to read into that stuff. I know some athletes get caught up in that, where they do this thing where, like, they search their name because they want to see, are people saying good things about me? Or they search their name because, like, oh man, do people hate me? I want to see that. And that's the ultimate worst thing that you can ever do.
That seems like the worst thing for your mental health. Like the worst thing for your mental health. And I can't even imagine, like, being under the microscope as a high profile Division I athlete, professional athlete, with all, like, I don't even know how, it's one thing, Bern, when people are just yelling at you in the stands in the game. It's another thing when, like, it's on your phone and it's blowing up all the time. How do you combat that on a day-to-day basis? And, what's sort of the hardest and easiest part of that for you?
Like I said, just having a good influence in people around me. Like this question and about college is like my present day wisdom, and trying to answer the question from my former self. But like, I kind of had the same idea and mindset, is like, not to just get caught up in that, like, not get too high, not get too low. Play the game and do whatever you do for the right reasons, for yourself, for your family. And it's really hard. And the part I try to do is just try to enjoy what comes with it, because that's all you can do, is enjoy what comes with it. because fame is fleeting, especially for most college athletes. Like most college athletes, like this is a mountaintop for you, because obviously, as you know, professional sports is, as you get older, the amount of jobs get smaller. So the fame is fleeting. So for me to answer that is like, just enjoy it. When you walk around campus, it's like everyone knows who you are. People want to give you stuff. People want to do stuff for you. People want to go out of their way. And then you just have to, like, for me, it was just understanding that, like, there's a good side and a bad side to this, and not get so caught up in the good side, and definitely not in the bad side. Because there was times when I told my mom that I had a good game. I remember what game it was. I had a great game, and there was like a note on my door that was like, "Oh, great game, Nigel, you're amazing." And the first thing I told her was, "What happens if I have a bad game?" That's my first thought. It was like, you have a good game, everyone knows where I live, and they left a note, and it's nice. It was like to say, "Hey, great game." But what would they have done if I had a bad game? Then do I get a note that was like, "Oh, you suck today"?
Well, hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the good and bad though that comes with that. And that's why when you get that note, you read it, and it's like, it was a good day. It's one day, and the point in life is a stacked good day. So you take this, appreciate it. And whoever left it there, I didn't know who left it there, but you appreciate that someone was watching and wanted to say something kind, and you don't let that make you. You don't live for people's compliments, because when you don't get them, or you get negative ones, those tear you down. So it's just, appreciate what's there and try to keep a level head and level focus.
I love the mindset. I'm just so impressed because, like, literally, dude, your name still comes up in conversations about, I think I might have mentioned your name either yesterday or the day before, talking about the NIL, and that, like, Wisconsin was like the front page of this happening. Are you like, does it excite you? Does it make you happy that if you didn't benefit from it, I didn't benefit from it, but what do you think about now? The ability for them to benefit started with that seed that you planted.
First initial honest thought is, damn it, I would have made a lot of money.
You and me both.
Oh my gosh.
Nigel, you don't really realize how many, when I showed up as a freshman in 2004, Bernie was a junior, you don't realize how many number 45 jerseys there were in the stands. Like, and then 2005, after you had your massive season as a junior, like, you walk in and there are as many 45 jerseys as any other player on the field. It's like and it's that in 28s. And that's all you saw. And I can't even imagine, like you said, those number 10 jerseys, you walk in,
it's like, that's my first, like, honest thought is like, damn.
And it's my
jealous. Yeah, it's just it's jealousy. But then the next part is that's, from the people I, like, whether role models of personal life or ones that you see from afar, one of the pieces of advice and, I guess, guidelines for life is to leave the world better than when you were there, and wherever you were, leave it better than when you got there. And I feel like I can say confidently that college athletics, from the athlete perspective, is better than what it was when I was in college, for sure. And that's the goal for athletes, to be able to, profit off of what they do. Like I said, fame is fleeting, and in college athletics, a lot of athletes, once they leave college, that's it in terms of sports for them, so that they're able to, if they're on all these commercials, all these billboards, their faces are everywhere, jerseys are being sold, all of this stuff. And if they're able to make money off of that and be able to use that money to springboard themselves after college athletics, and take care of themselves, their family, and do what they want, then, it was time well served in terms of me doing what I felt at the time was right, to be able to help these current athletes reap those rewards.
So if you could have had any NIL sponsor when you were an athlete, who would have been your first choice?
Who would have been my first choice?
Like, what fits the Nigel Hayes brand the best when you are 19, 20, 21 years old? Like, who do you want to be, like, known with?
Does this have to be something local? Like,
no,
like a
absolutely
local
not.
NIL or period?
Period.
That's a great question. I don't know. What are some examples of some deals some people have now?
Okay, so like for example, like the entire offensive line last year was sponsored by a barbecue restaurant,
What?
right? Yep.
Really?
So you've got obviously like all these guys would have like they have their gear and stuff like
Pepsi.
that. But like so there's like 4 or 6 guys on the team now who have a Pepsi NIL deal. There's Braylon has like a athletic training or lifting brand NIL deal, that kind of stuff.
I would have. Well, I mean, I would have hoped I would have gotten. I think. What did I like? Let me see. Okay, so I ate a lot of pancakes in college. So I think a pancake company would have been
There we
something
go.
good.
See, that's unique, and that also
I used
fits.
to eat a lot of
Wisconsin well, too.
pancakes and watch Criminal Minds. Those were my Saturday nights and Friday nights. I regret not going out more, but that's really what I would do on Friday nights. I'd clean my apartment, make pancakes, and watch Criminal Minds.
IHOP.
IHOP.
Yeah.
I love it.
IHOP or Bisquick, especially if you talk about that. IHOP or Bisquick. It's got to be one or the other, I feel.
I think that would have been a good one. Everyone knows I love pancakes, and then I need the syrup too. So I need the matching partnerships though. I need the pancake and the syrup to go together. I think, that's a good one, guys.
Nigel, first of all, let's go back to Toledo, Ohio, somewhere I've actually spent a little bit of time. My dad's best friend lived in Toledo for a long time. Talk to us about your life growing up. How do you get from small child to Madison, Wisconsin?
Well, Toledo. So basketball, I remember my mom has my first video, and she was so happy too. I think in college, someone was like, "Oh, do you have Nigel's earliest footage?" And I was playing in like a YMCA church league, and I think she sent the clip in where like I missed the layup too. I was like, "Mom, like come on." It was bad too, but I was so much bigger than the other kids. It was hilarious too. Just towering over the other kids. So we started there. Mom always liked sports. She didn't want us to play sports. It wasn't like, hey, play sports. She was like, hey, if you like it, I enjoy watching it. If you want to play, play. So the first sport I actually played was football, and I hated football so much. I really did. But basketball was something that, being tall helps. I liked it. And then my stepfather, which brings me to another segue that I love to do, is that my last name now is Hayes-Davis, and I changed my last name to honor my stepfather, who's the greatest man I've ever met. And without him, I wouldn't have been able to go to Wisconsin, and there would be no Nigel on this show right now. So, yes, my stepfather was the one who kind of got me into saying, hey, if you like sports, the great ones, they work harder than everyone else. He sat me down, we'd watch NBA games, and he would say, hey, don't just watch, listen to what the commentators are saying so you can try to learn, like, what players do this, what players do that. What do they do to work on their game? What do they do to become better? And then, my mom and them always instilled in me a work ethic. I always worked it extremely hard. Growing up, I went to a great high school. One of my first great basketball coach was Quentin Rogers from AAU. I played with All Ohio, so he was the one who helped me, figure out how to, look at basketball and not just like a game, and look at something to try to be as good at and dominate. Got to high school. Bruce Smith was my high school coach. He actually just texted me too, not too long ago, about something. He just saw me in a Badger thing. I haven't replied to him yet because I hopped on here, but it's funny how the world works. So Bruce Smith was there, and then playing AAU growing up. And how'd I get to Wisconsin? Well, I always wanted to go to Ohio State. I'm from Ohio, so I always wanted to go to Ohio State. And I had offers from, my last 3 were Stanford, Ohio State, and Wisconsin. And truth be told, I really wanted to go to Stanford. It was just really far from Ohio. Stanford was, is an amazing campus. Obviously, you get a degree from Stanford, that's icing on the cake in a lot of places. Coach Dawkins was there, so it was great. It was just really, really too far. And then in terms of Ohio State, my mom is a story I haven't told many people, I don't think. So exclusive content right here. My mom actually picked Wisconsin. I didn't want to go to Wisconsin. I wanted to go to Ohio State. And we took the visit to Wisconsin, Lamont Paris. was my he's now in South Carolina, so shout out Coach Paris. He was my recruiter. I remember the first time I played Finley, and there was this black man sitting on the baseline. It was just like, he's sticking out, buddy. What you doing here? I had a really good game, though. He talked to me afterwards, and, that's when I first found out Wisconsin was, on the radar. But I ended up taking the visit. Coach Paris was fantastic. He was phenomenal in terms of being a recruiter. He was honest about expectations. He was from Ohio. He was very personable. Parents liked him. They felt that they could trust him. He was a man of his word, and he turned out to be that and more. And then on the visit, Bo the Show, a.k.a. Bo Ryan, was there, and, Mom liked him. He really connected well, with my parents. They liked the campus. They liked everybody around. I had a great visit. That's when I met Douye. Still talk to Douye. I just saw Douye in Amsterdam, too, like a couple weeks ago. So still a great friend, and Douye was my host there. So it was a great visit. My parents loved it. And then we didn't. So I took the visit to Ohio State, and another reason why I didn't go to Ohio State was my parents didn't like it because Ohio State waited way too long to offer me. And it was almost to the point of disrespect, But in my eyes, so that's why I love my mother. So in my eyes, I was just like, oh, it's Ohio State. I'm from Ohio. I always wanted to go there. And my parents saw it as like, no, my mom's just like, they're not going to treat my baby like a second, third option. So when I committed, I called Bo and told him, and I didn't even tell my mom, I didn't want to go to Wisconsin. I committed because my mom said that this would be a great place for me. So everybody in Badger Nation has my mother to thank for me going to Wisconsin. And I listened to my mother, and she's usually right. And she turned out to be pretty damn right with me going to Wisconsin. It worked out extremely, extremely well for me. So that's how we ended up there as a Badger.
So we have a lot of stories about football guys who come on host visits. What's a basketball host visit like? What do you do?
We remember what I did. We came, we had, I think probably dinner first, met the rest of the staff. There's a time where when we go to Bo's house. So we went to Bo's house, had all the players there, coaches there, wives, family there, and the recruits that are there. And then, we go around. There was a basketball session, so I got to play with the guys that were there. Devin Harris was there actually too, and played. So that was pretty good. I think I played very well. Well, the guys seemed pleased. So played, and then, there's some touring that goes on where, you meet with, you got your academic advisors. They go, what do you want to do? I want to be a business major. So then they take me there. I meet the business people. I go around. I see some stuff, like campus hotspots, like what's it called? The at the lake.
The Union.
Down there. Yes, the Union. So went to the Union. Here's Camp Randall. Here's this. Here's that. And then in the evening, you go with your designated host player, and then, it's just same, typical college stuff you hear. You just go to a party and have fun. But for me, I was kind of boring because I don't drink. I've never drank before alcohol, and I don't like partying. So mine was a pretty bland, boring college visit. It's not the movie style story that, people are used to hearing.
I don't know. Scott Starks talked about just going and watching film for 4 straight hours. So at night instead of going out. Yeah. So that's one way to do it.
They would have never put us together at basketball. They would have never. They knew very well who the guys that they needed to put with me.
Yeah. I think someone do that too, because I was with Douye, and Douye doesn't drink or party or anything. So Douye and I was just there he's like, hey, what do you do, bro? Blah, 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 blah. Figuring it out. So it was it was cool. I mean, it was like I said, it was a nice experience. I enjoyed myself. Like I said, my father surely did, and she was like, that was her school. She circled that one. We ended up as a Badger, and it worked out fantastically.
So when you're not making pancakes and watching Criminal Minds, and you're not going to class or practice, what else are you doing on campus while you're in Madison?
What else was I doing? Nothing. It was just in the gym. It was either the gym or class. It wasn't really much, or hanging out at Gordon, which was the is it still called Gordon? No?
Yeah, the food, Gordon Commons?
The food, yeah. So me and the guys would be me, Vito Jordan, Riley Bronson, and Mace. We'd just be hanging out at the watering hole Gordons, you know, trying to work up the curves to talk to girls or something, wasting time, honestly, you know, or we were in the gym, or, you know, really, that was just it, hanging around, goofing off, doing nothing. I mean, I had a great college experience. Really, if I just had won one of those national championships, I think I would have been quite content with my college career. That's the only thing like I'm missing was a national title. Other than that, I think I did everything, you know, I wanted to do. And, you know, I came in there, I graduated. During my time, I felt like a president or a rock star, you know, walking around. I tried to be nice to people and kind to people, made a lot of friends. People were able to, you know, I did a lot of cool things. I mean, in the what is it called? Like Mifflin Week, they have concerts there. So I was able to like meet the organizers, and like I met Chance the Rapper. We were there, we were like backstage. And then one time, this was before I was really into music. My sister loved Party Next Door, and he came, and Bronson knew someone, and like Party Next Door and his whole like team came and played basketball in the Kohl Center. And
That's
so
cool.
like it was great. And then I got him to sign a hoodie to my sister. Oh, that's when I knew she loved me too, because she was like, oh, she was so surprised. That was one of my best big brother moments too, was surprising her with that. But no, I've done a lot of college. Was great. It's just one national championship away from being perfect, honestly. But it was a great experience.
Well, Nigel, the run you guys had was tremendous. I don't think it's even been close to replication ever. So, like, what does it mean to be a part of something so special? And what was it like?
Oh, what was it like? It was great. It was like a movie. My biggest regret is, man, like, if I could just take the wisdom I have now, like whatever little money I would have had, if we could have had like a videographer just document that whole, like my sophomore year 19, like I keep track of my years. Year 19 is like a top 2 year of my life. Like from an overall standpoint, just basketball, school of life, like year 19 was phenomenal. And to be able to document that would have been great. I mean, it's the epitome of like a college athlete. I mean, it was basketball, your sport was going fantastic. School was going fantastic. Social life was great. Like I said, walking around, like getting away with murder. It was great. Like you just do whatever you want. People are like letting you do whatever. It was great. Like missing class. I didn't go to class all the time. Of course not. I was a good student, but like there was no way I was going to class all the time. It was just not happening, you know? It was great though. And it, like the student, like interacting with the students was great. You know, like to be able to walk around campus and have students come up to me was like, I only came here because of the basketball team. Like, wow, it's a lot of pressure. And that's a big decision for you to make for as a basketball team. But, you know, to have people do that is great. Made great connections, great friends, lifelong friends. I met one of my best friends, Nathan Dupont. He was a manager with the team. And, you know, we're still in touch to today. We have random group FaceTime calls all the time. So, you know, year 19 was fantastic. You know, playoffs were good. The whole little accidental thing with the stenographer thing happened, you know, so to be like, we were just like the darling team of the country. And like I said, we one trophy away, man. That would have been signed, sealed, delivered. Probably the best year you could have in college, honestly. If I would have
There was only one other problem with that season, and that was the freaking shorts. Though the design of the shorts, where it just looked really awkward, where you had like the weird stripe in the middle, and like you're on the championship game. Those one jerseys have always bothered me.
You think that's what it was? Is that what held us back?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If you had just been wearing the clean whites. Yeah.
You know, they say look good, feel good. You feel good, you play good. Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe that's what it was. We'll never know, though. We will never know. You've had a fascinating professional career. You have been literally all over the world. You're in your, second stint back in Turkey on a second team now. Yeah. First of all, where is the coolest place you have ever played a professional basketball game?
The coolest place? Probably either Serbia against Red Star or this last game in Athens was pretty good. Those environments are like indescribable. Like I try to tell people, like, take the passion you see when you have, picture the man who loves his NBA team because a diehard fan, and then take the man who like went to Wisconsin and like loves Badger basketball, and then take like the man who loves NFL, and then take the man who like really is a really good baseball fan, who's a crazy baseball fan, and then take the man that's like a crazy college football fan and put them into one person. And that is how fans are in Europe for their sport. And it's absolutely madness. You know, they're singing songs the whole time. They're booing you. There's security lining up to get you into the game. I remember my first time I was in Turkey, we played in Serbia. There was like the SWAT had to escort us into the gym. And, you know, my first time being in Europe, and you're seeing like riot shields and guys with AK-47s like lining the sidewalk to get you into the gym. And it's like, damn, it's just a basketball game. And you have all of that going on. So, you know, it's crazy. But those are also great games, because, you know, that's what you know, grow up as a kid wanting to play in front of thousands and thousands of people, crazy chaotic environments, and to be able to play the game you love. So it's great. I've been able to travel a lot. Been to a lot of good places, especially this year. I've tried to be culturally enrich myself, taken upon myself to learn the language to the best of my ability of every country I've played in. And so that's been great. Made some great lifetime friends. So it's been a tremendous experience, and traveling is great. It's something I recommend all people, you know, obviously if you're able to do, is travel and see the world, you know, because it's the gift that you give yourself, is to be able to travel and see stuff.
All right, hardest language to learn: Lithuanian, Turkish, or
Yes.
Spanish?
Lithuanian by far. It's the hardest language I've ever tried to learn. That is, it's like, it's impossible. But my proudest moment was I graduated kindergarten, and they gave me like a little certificate when I was there, and I posted it, and all the fans were like, "Oh my gosh, thanks so much." So it was like, because no one like comes there who plays there tries to learn a language, because they go, "It's really hard, don't try." And everyone's like, "All right," if they don't try. But I tried my best to do it, to learn it. Super difficult language, but it's good. Spanish is easy. I think Spanish, and then also like just perspective wise, like in Europe, you meet a lot of people, and I met a lot of people who like baseline, they're like 2 to 3 languages fluent. And it's like just something that's instilled in them. And it's like, it's not America's fault, because America, being the greatest country it is in the world and the powerhouse, is like, hey, we speak English, so you should probably learn English. Whereas the other countries are like, all right, we have our language and you learn English, but also like when you're in elementary school, you're required to learn a third language. I got a lot of schools are like that. So, you know, you meet people who know 2 or 3 languages, and like I've always been super jealous of that. So like I really tried to lock in and learn as many as I can. And like it's always great too to be able to like go back and be around people and like speak another language, and people don't know what you're saying. And it's great, because then there's like that you see like when people get upset when someone's speaking another language, their first instinct is like, they're talking about me. And it's like, no, actually they're not. Most of the time people aren't talking about you. And that's why I like learning languages, because I try not to let people I know it when I'm around them. So I like to just listen to people, you know, and hear things people say. And then like if I really need to like interrupt or something like that, then, you know, I will. But it's
Like Jackie Chan in the first part of Rush Hour.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what have you learned from all of these world travels and interacting with all these people that you are going to try to apply to your new business and your new patented, you know, tool, which, by the way, we will have to get here for the studio?
What is that? People are all the same. Like everyone's different, but everyone's the same. Everybody wants the same things. Everybody wants to do the same things. Everyone wants to just take care of themselves, their family, have a good life, be happy. And, you know, everyone's trying to go about it the same way. And it's really just like a blended into the same thing. And so, for example, I always tell people about cuisine. Like most of the foods are the same foods. Like there's not so many ingredients you use. It comes down to like 1 or 2 spices. So you make the same dish and you want to add 1 spice, paprika, and then you call this is my country, this is our dish. And then you go to the next country and it's this instead of paprika, it's oregano. And now it's like, oh, wait, this is a completely different thing. And it's like, it's really the same dish. You just change spices. Like, I promise it's the same thing. So like that example of how foods are so similar is like, everyone's kind of like, you know, just the same. And everyone has like when I travel, you know, I go to the museums and there's always art's a little different, but you go to churches, the churches are the same, the buildings, everybody has the people that they revere. So everybody has their own identity, but at the same time, it's like one, you know, big family.
That's really cool. Did you ever play in White Plains?
Did I ever play in White Plains? Yes, I did. My first year, my rookie year with the Knicks junior team. Yeah.
I feel like I saw you at a restaurant.
Did you?
Yes. You were with who came in who was playing? Oh man, I'm blanking on his name. This is gonna kill me. I'm picturing his face. You guys came in to eat.
Trey Burke?
No, this is gonna bother me. He was a good shooter.
You'll figure it out when you're getting ready to go to sleep. You'll think of it right there.
Did this person play some? I mean, Douillet was a great shooter. Douillet, for my money, should have gotten more run in his Badger career than he did. But that's just me being a bitter fan. But you know,
yeah, for sure, dude. I mean, he's 6'9" sharpshooter.
He can light it up. He can light it up.
It was Bronson.
Yeah.
Where was Bronson? I think it was him.
You think it was Bronson?
I think so. I could have sworn I saw you guys walk in.
Bronson was a sharp shooter, so it could be Bronson.
I'm like, wow. I knew Bronson a little bit because I saw him out and about in town. So when we saw each other, I was like, oh man, this is great. Nigel, also my wife's a huge fan. So she has to meet you. She's a little crazy into the air.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi, Ali.
Hi.
Hi, Ali. I'm Nigel. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
First time ever.
Yes.
Yeah, I am so sorry to embarrass my husband.
No, it's okay.
I am so excited to meet you.
Likewise.
A few things.
Okay.
Yes, please. This is what I've always wanted Ali to take over the podcast. Yes. Oh my God, my dreams are coming true.
I was checking my Facebook memories today, and I shared, it was on this day in 2017, I shared your Players Tribune article that was titled, Don't Just Shut Up and Dribble.
Well,
so I found that to be so interesting. I don't really have a follow-up question.
I do have a follow-up
You
question.
said you had a couple things,
what
and you said
inspired
one thing.
what inspired you to write that? And like, what was the process of that? Like, how did that happen?
It's spillover from the whole like college athlete NIL thing. It was like, hey, just play sports. You're there, just go to school, get your education. Like, you don't worry about other stuff. So it's kind of like this is like a side spillover from that whole thing.
Wait,
just try right.
Oh,
and
sorry.
your
Are we
second
still
or third
recording?
thing? You had we're recording.
Absolutely, we are.
Well, I said I had a couple things. They weren't necessarily questions.
Keep going.
Okay. Well, that was one. What's the next one?
That was one. My boss, who 2016, 2017, I went through a kind of career life change. I was very unhappy with the state of the world, which was around the time when you wrote this article. But anyway, my boss, who I've worked with now for 6 years, we bonded over that article when I was interviewing with him. And he wanted me to share. He has a picture with you that he wanted me to share. So this is another thing.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
I can't tell if you're not embarrassing.
I am
embarrassing. Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Oh, well, this is his daughter. That's not him. My boss is not a 10-year-old girl.
Wait, I was going to say, all I see is a little girl. Your boss?
Yes. And that's his dad photobombing in the back. But
what year was this?
This had to have been, oh man, I don't know. I mean, it was when you played at Wisconsin. So it was
so at least
in
you got
that range.
4-year range to figure out from. Okay.
Yes. She's now a junior in high school. his daughter. But he would like me to tell you that you and Chris Borland are his two favorite athletes of all time.
I love
So
it.
that is from my boss.
Tell your boss I love him or her. Is it him, right? You said that was him in the picture photobombing?
Yes.
Tell your boss I love him too.
Yes. And okay, so I have two more things. One part A, one is part A and part B. So part A is, I'm sorry, but part A, I'm so sorry to bring up the national championship game because it's really upsetting for me. So I'm sure it is for you.
Not a pleasant
part
topic.
A, yes. Part A was that my brother-in-law convinced his wife who was pregnant that if you won, they would name their son Nigel.
I love that.
Their son's name is Alex.
Close
So,
enough.
hi, Alex. Sorry.
Hi, Alex. Sorry I let you down, Alex. We could have been named twins.
That's okay. But part B of that is that I had my, how you become a New Yorker moment is that you openly cry on the subway. And that was my how I became a New Yorker moment was I openly cried on the subway on the way home from watching.
I'm sorry I put you through that. I did my best. I really did.
I know you did. I know you did.
It's the ref's fault. It's the ref's fault. Justice Winslow touched the ball. We all know it. Come on.
Oh, I know.
If I could do it over, I'd win for you. I promise.
I know. I'm sorry.
And we'd
to bring
have
that
another
up.
Nigel in the world then.
Yes.
Actually, sorry. The first
maybe
time.
that's our boy's name.
Now I'm upset that Alex. So I just found out someone sent to me that for the first time last year, not a single baby was named Nigel.
No.
Yeah. So hey, Alex. Yeah. For the first time last year, not a Nigel was named. I'm a dying breed.
You can hold this guy to it because if we have a boy, maybe we'll have a Nigel.
Nigel Bernstein sounds great to me.
Does sound good.
That's a good sounding name.
It is a good
sounds
name.
like a great author too of like a Max trilogy that sells a billion.
Nigel Bernstein. And my favorite name is Francis, so it would be Nigel Francis.
F. Bernstein.
Yeah.
Nigel.
That's a great author name.
Yes.
But I just want you to.
Okay, this is my last one.
I'm on board. Can I be the Godfather?
Yeah.
Done.
Or is that too much? Am I asking too much by saying
that's
that?
okay. No, absolutely.
Okay.
No.
Oh, that would be amazing.
It'd be amazing.
My last thing. You do not have to answer if this is too personal. I follow you on Instagram, and I'm wondering what the name change was.
So actually, you weren't here when we discussed this, but I actually wanted to follow up, and I didn't ask. So for Ali, I'll let you repeat, and then I want you to tell us a little bit more about the person behind that name change and how when they came into your life and how they, really sort of changed it.
So glad you asked. So Hayes-Davis, my stepfather, Albert Davis, my mother remarried when they just celebrated their 21st wedding anniversary, actually. So let me do the math. 5 or 6. Wait, no, what is that? 21? No, 7. I was about 7 or 8 when they got remarried. And my stepfather, Albert Davis, he's the reason why I was able to play sports. He worked at Chrysler, too many hours, too much overtime to be able to make sure that not only myself, but my brother and sisters were able to play sports, to give me money to travel for AAU, to get to all these tournaments, to be able to be seen by the coach that would be at Wisconsin that would give me a scholarship to continue to play basketball. And he not only did that, he continued to do that. And one of my favorite stories I love to tell is that my mom wanted to go to one of my games. So he got off a probably 8 to 10 hour work shift, drove 6 hours, 6-7 hours to the game. My mom watched the game. I said hi, kissed bye. He drove back and then went right back into work. And again, he works at Chrysler. So, it's not, a walk in the park. So he did all of that just so my mom could watch me play. And it's the greatest man I've ever known. So that's why I added Davis to honor him. And I love when people ask, because then I get the chance to tell someone else about the wonder that is Albert Davis. So I love him. And I don't know if he'll see this. Someone will definitely make sure he sees it. But yeah, it's because of him. So that is the name change. Not too personal at all. Glad you asked.
Well, that could
That's very
not be a
cool.
more perfect place for us to wrap up here for the day. So, on behalf of both Bernie and Mrs. Bernie, Nigel Hayes-Davis, Matt Perkins here on Believe in Badgers on the Believe Podcast Network, presented by betonline.ag. And until next time, on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin.
Let's
Nigel,
go,
you
world.
pleasure to
Make
meet
some more
you.
babies named Nigel.
We do.
Nigel,
I'm serious,
you
though. I
made
really-
someone's whole entire day right here. I mean, you made ours, but this one is...